Okay, everyone, let's get started with this. So, everybody, my name is Jan Dvorak, also known as Storyteller on the Meteor forums. Today's stream is a live coding session, where I'll be trying to create a Web3 login. So this is live coding. I don't have much really prepared. There's no script that I'm going through, so expect all the issues that come with live demos and everything. I'll expect that we'll have probably some maybe crashes or code not working as we would like to, but that's part of the game. Feel free to type in the chat. I'm watching it, and a lot of other things as much as possible. There's obviously some delay between what I do here and before it gets to you and back to me. So we'll try to deal with that as things come and go. And yeah, we'll try to have some fun. So if you can, let me know in the chat if you have like any issues or anything. When I was trying this, sometimes as I have many screens, I forget to double check the mic levels and everything. I also have a new mic this time around to see how that goes. So again, let me know how you're hearing me and whatnot. And yeah, let's take a look on what we'll be working here with. So I have already prepared, or this is kind of code for my personal website, jandvorak.me. Which will be starting off. Since we are dealing with Web3, we'll need SSL enabled. So I've used this SSL package extra because normally Meteor doesn't have SSL on localhost. So I had to get this package, and since I had some initial issues with it because it's quite dated, I have forked it locally, as you can see here, and did some. Actually, I did two changes. Let me pull up my GitKraken to kind of show you. So first of all, I got the latest kind of fixes from Harry Adele, who has made some improvements, and then I removed the specifically the template registrars or for helpers, which is for Blaze, because I am using React, so the template namespace is not available here, so that was crashing. So that is gone. So yeah, that's what I have so far. I think I will then, once we are done here towards the end, I'm just going to maybe look at this package a little bit more, see if I can improve some things and publish this as well under my own namespace on Atmosphere. So that will, this is available for you easily. Okay, so we have that. Let's then take a look here. So here we have, this is the login page. We'll be adding here an additional login for Web3. And for specifically what we'll be looking at, or what I'll be working at, is this this looks like it, this Web3 model. So let's take a look. So yeah, once you click connect, you get all these options, especially if you have them all set up, and then you can connect with MetaMask. And the idea is then that, at least for right now, for our purposes, this will, if it's login, it will check with the database if that address is already associated with that user, then log in with that user, or if not, then it will create a new user with that address. So we'll have that ready here. And just to kind of give you idea, I have already kind of worked with this before on a small NFT project. Your Sphinx cat. Let me see if I can remember the address properly. because I was using it on, I was working on it on my other. Let me quickly check my laptop because I needed to move around. So it should be safe somewhere there. Okay, let's see .cat. Yeah, my Sphinx cat it is. So this is kind of the web page that was for that. And if you click connect, oops, after I have cookies and everything, okay. Or maybe I have it blocked, that's like another thing. I am superly cautious, so that's a good, and it might actually be disabled now because the minting is over. So there's no need to connect anything, but yeah, this was the page I was working on project. Pretty cool, I got some nice looking cats out of it. And now we'll be trying to kind of reproduce the same thing with us here. And you can see it's a lot of stuff that we can work here with. And we'll be going, we have kind of two options. We can either go with the NPM package and get that, or, and I think that we might kind of start with that. But another thing, what we might try to go with is just to connect to some DNS and grab the code from there and have that available maybe for faster things. So be looking on some sample implementation here and getting that done. But first things first, let's create our package. So new repository. I'll be using the template package starter from Meteor commit packages. And we'll name it Web3 login for now. Maybe it will be public. Will not be under that. I'll put it, let's see, under myself. Let's put it under freedom base. Include looks good to me. Create a repository. So we'll have that created in a moment. Nice, nice, nice. So it has all the other stuff that kind of normally would want, the basic setup. So we'll be adjusting that in a little bit. So actually no need to clone it. Let me jump back to Kraken. This is GitKraken. You can find the link to it if you like what you see in the description. And we'll clone a repository from GitHub. I have already set it up so it goes into packages because we want to work on it in the same place. And we said it was Web3 login. Maybe we figure a better name soon. So got that open, and when I go to my project, it's added here to all the stuff. So first things first, let's add it the proper name, and we should also link to the proper repository. And we want to be current, so let's just put 2.6 here. We have all these things, so freedom base 3 login. So right now is not affecting us in any shape or form. for the moment, maybe in the future, but it's still, at least I like to keep a good practice of getting everything up to speed. So we won't be bothering with these things. For standard specifically, that's already in my project, so we don't have to install any of these dependencies or worry about that. Okay, changelog, initial release. I think we'll just go with this. We'll have that today is, let's see which format of date to pick, American, European. Let's go year, month, day, initial release. And now we can actually look into how we are going to put things together. We have our common thing. This is mostly here for tests or to start up with, so we won't be needing any of that. So let's get rid of that. And where to start? That's always kind of the hardest thing to show. One of the things to kind of start and look at will be some of the other, say, login packages. Sadly, in our case, that doesn't help us that much. And that's kind of for, well, the main reason is because we are not having an OAuth package. We are having a Web3 registration package or login package, but we'll have kind of similar setup. So if, let me pull up here, we have how the data looks like in my page. We have some users, in this case just me, and as you can see, we have here some how things are set up. So we have resume tokens, password, and then we have for the OAuth and email. So we'll be placing all of our logins, and let's make it, we'll rename it Web3 Ethereum. That's where we're going to place it. We'll see later on what else can we kind of grab from that. So that's what will be placed. That will be handled on the server. But first things first, we'll have to kind of figure out the initial client. We want this to be, let's just say, front-end agnostic. So we jump back here and they're saying, let's look at the JavaScript vanilla example. That's what we'll be kind of looking to kind of implement. So HTTPS localhost, we have that already taken care of. So this is the example. This is the other one. Oops, looks like it was. Let's see, do they have example.js? Yes, so that's what it is all about. And on index, we'll see. This is how they are connecting. So we'll have also to account it for all these, formatic and all the other places. So this will be kind of our main thing. So I want to now know Meteor at, let's comment. Hi Milan, doing fine. Sorry for noticing the comments so late. I got kind of engrossed in the work. Doing fine. Let's see what we can advance this. Meteor add, and I want to add script tag from package. Let's see if we have some. If we have some quick ways. How to do it from package. Let's start on the form. Yes, obviously I can do it in the of course in the main Meteor script, and let's take a look. Yes, we have the inject initial, but I'm not sure that that's exactly what I want. Or is it? Inject initial. Question from Milan is if this package is going to be available for download. Yes, that's the goal of this stream. I plan to go, either as is feasible, or as when we have this package ready to be kind of shipped. So inject initial. From highest to lowest level. Inject meta, inject raw head. Might be one, but probably maybe into body itself it's better. Okay, so that's one approach. Let's keep that in mind. Another one is obviously to ask, and I think that might be probably the right now for us the easiest way. Feel free to actually ask people to add these into their own script, or like in their own main HTML file based on what they are using, and we can have that then based on settings. So let's see how to go. So let's forget right now that part, and I'm just going to, here we go, we have some scripts here. Since we're just starting developing, I'll just add it here. Or maybe in this case I should add it at the end. This is just my loading screen here. Nothing too bothersome. So at the end here we have some atom analytics, so let's add it after React loads, and we can then update everything. So this should keep, at least for now, our dependency small. So we have Web3 modal, and we can jump back to our client. Now, the approach I want to take here, as I said, was to be front-end agnostic. So once we get, there will have to be some, just say, wiring needed later on so then what I want to kind of create here is first would be, just say, and this will be logging with Web3, and we can take a look on just say the accounts package, and this is the kind of login with style. Right now I'm just going to do a quick export. Later on, as I will start cleaning this up, part of it is obviously is to connect it into the Meteor command itself, so like the other packages. And well, I'll show you my, let's see, usually there's like some options, request permission, offline token, and similar things. We might be eventually interested in reject URL, but I think that's again something to be implemented by the client, because that's for the OAuth. All right, so this in theory should be what happens when the user clicks on on a button or something like that. So let's take a look again on this one. So we have here at event listener. So that's to initialize the actual, or this is kind of for the connections. That's kind of taken care of by the application itself, but we'll have to take care of the initialization, something our app will have to do out of itself. So I'm just going to do a very nasty copy paste here. Not exactly sure if this is going to work. We'll have to work on that. So here we have all this stuff. We'll be right now not really thinking about formatting. That would be kind of the third step. Have to check that the protocol is HTTPS, since that is, I think, something that everybody is going to want to check at some point or other, is so to even check if to enable the button. So if it's not, if the protocol is not, or I can actually probably instead fix this to is. I can reuse it here. It's HTTPS. So secure contact. Obviously, without that, MetaMask won't be available. And then here it's doing the check and disabling the button. So in this case, we'll just leave the return here, because disabling the button, again, that's on the app to do. So let's do formatting. Okay, tell Web3 model what providers we have available. This is where things get, just say, more interesting. Primarily because this is something that we have to ensure that we can actually make sure that it is configurable. So we have wallet connect here, formatting, stuff like that. And in this case, as you can see, I've already imported here Meteor. I'm just going to take a quick look. Already took the Web3 model on package here, so we'll just put that at the top here for now. Or actually, after the const log so we know what's going on. So this is the wallet connect provider with options. Right now we'll just leave it as is. Let's comment out formatic. Now the Web3 modal is set, and we have all these things. So let's copy that again. The first kind of attempt is to make sure that we have something working, and then we'll start improving. So we have that here ready. So Web3 model is new. It's going to get initialized this way. And here is actually a good place to start with the settings. So this is on the front end. So we'll have to have the public part there, packages, and we'll have that as settings. So it's going to be there. Public, maybe not. Packages, we'll have to have freedom base Web3 login and dot. Actually, this is cache providers, so I should not be even working here properly. So I'll have to think more about that. We can though use it here. Provider or false. So this, if that will be set in the settings, then we can have that or have false for that. Another thing that we can do here is, since it's initialization, probably once we go through this again, this will be something that we might allow from some other part. And again, this is kind of where we'll have to make eventually a hard decision. Do we want this to work out of the box as much as possible? So that would mean that we already have presets here, or do we want as much customization as possible, which means that we'll be expecting like a setting object to come in the initialization function, in which case then the initialization would have to be done by the client itself as well. So tough choices. So this should initialize for us the modal, which is all nice and good. And after initialization comes the actual command. So now we can actually think. We could even like put the init in here as well, which probably might not be a bad idea, but let's not jump too far ahead. So we've done the initialization, and we have here the on connect. So that's our here, our login with Web3, and it's a async function. So we'll have to figure out that one here as well. Let's see. In this case, it would be here. Given how Meteor is it has kind of its own way to handle these things. This might be quite interesting. So it will try to do the Web3 model to connect. If not, it's going to catch it, give us an error. Let's make that an error. Then it does these different things here, which pretty much is, get the account data or refresh them. So we'll have to kind of go to those up here. Let's start with fetch account data. So what did that give us? So it will start with Web3 provider, which should be initialized already or not. New Web3 is not defined. So where do we have the Web3 coming from? Should be already, yeah, that should be already kind of in the window, same namespace, same like Web3 model. Let's look up here, Web3 model, but this is capital Web3. So these three should be coming up from what's imported. So another way kind of to get this error fixed would be to actually import it from npm packages. Again, something that we'll have to kind of experiment to see what would be the best approach here. Otherwise, it should be in the general namespace. It should be, I think, like document.web3. Okay, more stuff to check out. 3. So then we connect to the Ethereum chain. We have the EVM chain. So I do believe, let's see, we have that here. So let's where did we put those things? So we have the, okay, so Web3. So this is the modal thing. This is the EVM chain. Okay. Might be missing here for the Web3, so we'll have to again check once we get things running. So EVM chains are there. So then we get the accounts, select the first one. I might play with that later. And now it's trying to pretty much create, like, this is in the demo page, so it will actually display what we are getting. So we don't really need all of that. What we are like interested in, we just actually want to get that. This is the template and stuff like that. What we actually want here is a console log for the selected accounts. This is again for their example. And then we have like some other things to, to get their balances and everything. And again, that's not something that we are really interested. We just want to get the account and the address so that we can do a simple login. Not nothing fancy or anything like that. So in theory, this should be enough for us. So we have that fetch account data, and then we have here the refresh data. Let's see, what do we have here? Fetch account data for UI, user switches accounts in wallet, user switches network in a wallet, or user connects wallet initially. So again, this is their example UI stuff. And then here it's just doesn't really do anything for it. It just goes fetch account data. So our question is if we even need that. So right now we can just leave it here. And yeah, it might be a completely unnecessary function. Okay, another function we have to do, at least to get started here, is to disconnect. Let's see here. And this would be, if we take a look, documentation, we have login. So that would be more of a, that's actually more of an extension for linked accounts, which if time allows, I will also connect or work on. Okay. Guess we have the initial thing all set up, at least I think enough for us to go and see what errors we get. So before that, I have to go and set up our nice button, and even actually first Meteor add freedom base Web3 modal, not modal, login. So this will give us the package locally. Yay, got that. So now under users, I'm going to go into social login. This is where all the logins are. And let's see how I'm going to add here. So this is where all the things happen, and here we have the check for all the different buttons. So I'm going to create a new one, Web3, just Web3. We'll do a check for my package, Web3 login, and actually take these off because I'm not listening to any music or anything. So Web3 login, if that is true, I'll just follow the format. I could probably be done better here. Then we'll create button. The service is going to be Web3. Full name, I'll just name it Web3 for right now. I'll go here, do a case for Web3. Again, if package freedom base Web3 login exists, otherwise we don't care. This is for the logging part, so in this case we'll use the inline imports. We've named this our function. Is it up? No, down. Login with Web3. Oops, no, it's Meteor Web3 login. Login with Web3. Just simple like that. And yeah, I need to actually do a break here. And now it's going to check. So let's add it some nice logo. And since I'm using styled icons, let's see what we have available. And we want to probably do some Ethereum. So what was that? Import. So if a brand, since I'm already using, I don't have to worry about anything else. So it's going to be Ethereum icon, same size as everybody else. And okay, Web3. And let's add it here, Web3. Okay, that should be, I think, enough for it to display. So let's take a look on what errors we are going to get. This is where the fun part of live coding comes in. Since I don't have any script or anything to know exactly how to implement it, it's going to be a lot of searching and trying to figure out things out. Let's see. Okay, this is just types. This is just suppress with TS ignore to make it happy. Same thing here. This is another of my packages. And we can jump back to actually localhost. So I need to remember which port did I actually use. No, not this one. This one. So let's see. Okay, so got loading. And we are running into errors. This mobile, that's a long-standing error. Wallet connect provider before initialization. So we'll need to make sure that looks like the initialization is not working as we expected. So how are we going to go around fixing it? So we have the initialization here. Let's see. Initializing example that happens. Wallet provider. Okay, so we don't have wallet connect. I don't think we need wallet connect though. Not yet. Okay, now this is getting us further. We have here Web3 and Ethereum is ready. Okay, Web3 model gets established. Let's see. Unable type per default window wallet connect provider is undefined. So in main Web3 model. Let's take a look on their index again and see. The EMV chains were already called for. this is Web3 provider. So let's just add them here. This Web3 provider. And see what's going to happen. Okay, it's refreshed. Okay, oh, look at that. We have Ethereum here, ready to go. And yes, I need to do a better design here. So, okay. So now we click, obviously nothing happens. I kind of expected that. That's how things go. So, but at least this has loaded and looks like we have everything ready. So, okay, some React 18 issues, which is good. We don't want to deal with that just yet. Okay. So the model is here. All the other stuff as well. Okay. We'll deal with that later. Server, common. So close that for now. Let's go back to our client here. So now that things have been established, we can get rid of some of these console logs to make things a bit, I'll just say, cleaner and quieter in the console. So fetch account data. Let's actually check now that I actually click. So this should be, if I remember correctly, login. Then is it everything named Web3 here? Web3. And over here, Web3. If we look here, Web3. Everybody is happy. So, and this gray button function then does on click, log in the service name. So it should end up right here. Clicked. I'll just make sure that we really have the information, and hopefully it's not an issue of, it looks like it's not an issue of the HTTPS. So for some reason, we have the full name, we have the logo on click. So let's see what data are we getting here. Here we go. Freedom base typo on my side here when typing the name of the package. Okay, now it should work. Well, look at that. Look at that. Here we go. I think we have the first hurdle done. And let's see. MetaMask connects. Let me open my KeePass and let's see if we can get some information. Unlock. We'll do next. Can probably work later on the say approval page and everything. That will be subject. And obviously it crashes as expected. And that's because I probably missed something from the example. And it looks like it refreshed the page, or was I mistaken? That's not what we want. Okay, I missed this bad boy over here. We don't want these env chains. That's not what we want. We just want to get the address. If you want to get chains and other stuff, that's, you know, then for you to implement in your application later. And I'm sure that if this is successful, we might see more packages in this regard. By the way, did you know that Ethereum has official packages for Meteor? I think some of them could use some love and maintenance, but they're still there, and I think they should be usable. Haven't tried them out myself. I'm not yet that deep into Ethereum and other packages or crypto. So let's try one more time. Okay, since I'm already there, and look at that, got accounts, we got an array, and then we get the address for my wallet. So if you want to send me some Ethereum, you know where to. This is one of my, or it's my MetaMask address. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go for the pretty much the Meteor implementation part. So we have pretty much achieved our main goal here. And so time for a bit of a quick cleanup with these. And I think I can even, just to try things out, remove a wallet connect for now. In which case, if that happens, and I just click that, yes, that goes directly to then MetaMask. So if we don't have wallet connect or anything else here, then it will go directly to MetaMask, which is kind of the default. It's expected. So actually, I'm thinking, you know, for these providers, additional one, we'll be doing something like like this. And then we go. How do we go nicely about this? We'll test if we have wallet connect. And if yes, then the provider option wallet connect is going to be added. We'll get the package wallet connect provider here, nice, and Then we have the options, which in this case will be the entire object here. So that will be the infer ID or whatever else will be added. And as we improve this package, then, you know, who knows, maybe we can have some additional initialization here and whatnot. And we can do exactly the same here for Matic. And this will be part of, let's just say, the how should we call it, final adjustments of this package to add all the different options that are available there. So yeah, in the meantime, please let me know, what do you think? What should be the approach? You know, should we do more, you know, easy configuration, you could say, or should we go more towards just, you know, more code in the app or more code in the package? Obviously it will have yell at me because I have not added here the formatics, so I think can actually do it like this. And then we can have here, you know, say we actually have this available. Otherwise it's kind of pointless, isn't it? If we have the settings but not the provider itself. And again, multiple choice, you know, choices or options of how we can attack this. So that's something that, yeah, we'll have to check into. So what's the issue here? Packages, unexpected token. Oh yeah, if I do it like this, then I don't need the dot. Quite the opposite. So I'll just leave here to do more options. And okay, we have that. That will have to go back into Meteor itself. But again, that will be kind of last step. Now we actually fetch our account data. We need to do two things. First of all, check with Meteor if that account already exists, or if that account already has this address connected to it, so we can log in a user, or we need to add the user into the database, create a new user. So let's see. I am thinking probably just, you know, in order to get this out, will you quickly use methods. So we'll jump back here to the server. And we also will be needing here accounts from Meteor accounts base. Actually, good point to now let's we are looking into it. We'll have to add the dependency accounts base. Without that, it's kind of pointless. We'll have our methods here. And let's make sure that actually logging with address. On here we have Ethereum address. That's going to take care of that. So we are going to check on that and do that and all the other things. So I'm going to take a quick break because drinking tea has consequences. And then we'll continue. In the meantime, let me know in the chat, what do you think? Should we go more, say, that more code should be on the client, like with the imports and everything, or should we just try to get as much of that into the package so that it's just install package, add maybe keys to some of the wallets, or you don't even bother with that and have everything working? So what are your thoughts on that? So I'll be back in a couple of moments. Okay. All right, I am back. Let's see, how do we get forward from here? So we'll get the Ethereum address in this method call, and let's do a quick look at the documentation, what we can do here, or what we'll be using it in. So logging in, no, it's all front end. So we have this login with external service. That's pretty much what we'll be doing on the client. So we'll have to look into this multi-server thing. So We'll be definitely wanting to do creating new users. That will be actually that's under passwords, but I'll have to check how we get into that. So yeah, we have here username, email, and other stuff. You can see it's already in the accounts base. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to open the Meteor code. No, don't need the console today, and let's take a look on the over here on the server. A lot of it's thousands of lines of codes. Get everything going. So you have the current user, logging hooks, create user hook, and I'll have to do a couple of things. Successful logouts kind of reminds me, better put it in here to quickly to do indexes. We'll deal with that shortly. First, okay, here we go. Login methods. So this is where all the magic happens, and this is actually something that we will be using. Logging user. You have here the method invocation. So let's take a look. What does that tell us? Type optional string. The service name overrides the handler default if present. Okay, so that's not exactly what I thought it was. Attempt login. Okay, so we have login method here. Logging handlers. I think this might be what we are looking for here. Let me actually open. It's been a while. Let's see if I have it actually on this. No. Okay, here we go. Meteor accounts line. Might give us some idea. This is obviously for for OAuth, so that's tad different. So you have your, that's the usual OAuth, register service and whatnot. Get identity, and it goes through all the necessary things there. So sadly, this goes through the auth package, so that's not going to help us much. Point for auth packages to hook into login. Login handler is login method, which can return undefined to indicate that a login request is not handled by this handler. Service name used by default if a specific service name isn't returned in a result. Receive an option object. Defined meaning don't handle. Okay, so I think this is actually what we'll be doing. Register logging handler. So we'll also have to use the check package because we are a good package. So check, of course, never forget to declare your dependencies, so we'll have to add that here as well. and register logging handler, in our case Web3, and this should be the function. Trees and options object as pass as an argument to the login method and returns one of these. Actually, I think we need to put that here. So options, and what I'm going to quickly do here, well, yes, it's exactly as I thought. Obviously, as we can see, account server is one of those that implements it as well here, and we can see here resume password passwordless. So this is actually our, or how we are going to be looking at it, or how we are going to be using it. So here we have, it registers account handler for password. And in case of our options, if options dot address doesn't return, we'll return undefined because we are not handling that. We don't want that. And then we are going to check. And this is going to be similar options, but right now it's going to be address. Right now we'll have just a string for validation here, but also to do Ethereum address validation, or so we will have that later on replaced, so it's not going to be just a string, but we'll have actually check that it's a valid address. I already know validator which I'll be copying from. So now I know, once as we look on the password example, once we have that done, hi Alim, sorry for noticing, that kind of happens. I have a tunnel vision on my code. So Alim is here. Oh, sorry. Oh, I forgot the classical mistake that happens. Here we go. So, forgot to switch my screen. So here we look. Let's just take a quick look back. So this is my server for the package of the method here. We'll see if we're actually going to use that, or if we are going to completely hook up into Meteor's internal functions. And we are registering handler here for Web3. And we are looking here on the password example and how to do it. So we've already done our checks parts, and now we have to check if we have the user available. So let's check for this query. So it's looking if we have ID. It's looking for other thing. I think we might not do that. And instead we are going to be looking, or kind of doing a quick on our own. Let me think for a while if that's what we want to do. Well, first of all, we want to, it's going to be by services. So let's take a look how this is being handled by passwordless. So yeah, that one is getting data in different way. Let's check also how the user is getting used later on. Okay, so I think we can do this. So Alan, can you elaborate with what you mean with the specific syntax that you're not familiar with? Obviously, this is Meteor internals, so that can be very confusing for the uninitiated, especially since this has over 1,000 lines of code, this file alone. So what we want here is the user object, and we want to check, if we don't have user, then we'll be throwing an error, user not found. And if we have user, then I think in this case, since it's just spread operators, that's 3 dots. That's we actually see if we won't be needing it here. But spread operators, it's usually like for arrays. So if you have, you can like copy that, or it's not just for arrays, it's like multiple things. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. So it's, as Alim says, it's kind of new. ECMAScript function. It takes a field. In this case, it's here we have the these fields, and if we go back here, you can see it's pretty much taking. In this case, it's an object. It's taking that object and putting what's inside of that object into this object. You can do similar things with arrays as well. So that's very quick how spread operators works. We can probably cover it once we are more progressed with this package, or once we encounter it with a nice example. So what I wanted to check here though is if we have like any, actually with the find user by query, how it's being done here internally. So it's just calling Meteor users find one. So we are going to be doing the same approach, find one. And in our case, we'll be looking at, it will be under the services field. And we'll be looking at Web3. That's where we are going to put things. And we'll be checking for the Ethereum, or in this case, it's options.address. So we just want to find the user that has that. It should be only one user. So it's always 1-to-1. So in this case, register login handlers. Let's go back to, oops, not like that. Let's go back to our internal code here. And tells us what we should be returning. And function receives options object as pass an argument to the login method and returns one of undefined, meaning don't handle, a login method result object. So that's one thing that I am a bit uncertain about, which is what is the result object supposed to look like. So it's creating. We go to passwords server, so it's using this result, which is in this case checking if the password matches, and then does its play with two-factor authentication. And Alem has to drop off. Yes, Alem, this is being recorded. Or at least I think it should be by YouTube, so it will be available later. Now then. Yeah, later in its full glory, I think it will be more interesting to actually see the resulting package. This is live coding session, so it has all the issues like with, okay, this didn't work, or I have made a typo here, and I have to spend 5 minutes trying to figure out where it will end. So in the end, I think for people, unless they want to get more into how to actually build things like this, it's more interesting to actually just have the final results, which this is going to be a package, which is going to be published. So hopefully today or tomorrow, once I clean things up a little bit. So we'll see. So back to our how password with two-factor authentication works. So it checks for password, and then it checks if two-factor authentication has to be in there. If yes, then it returns an error that to kind of inform the two-factor package. I think that's something to check for us as well. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. One step at a time. We have it. So in the end, we'll just want to have for fields. Oops. We'll want options, services, Web3 to be one. And we'll want another one, which is going to be options, services. And I do believe that should be 2FA to be one. So we can later on check here for two-factor authentication. To do 2FA. Although I think once you have a crypto address, 2FA is kind of a mute point. But let's be friendly in the future, hopefully, to this. So check password. What does check password returns us? We get user password. And then it does what? Constant result, and its user ID. And then it does the other things. We don't have to worry about that for now. So our result should be the user ID, and just to be more expressive, we don't have to do the underscored ID one here. That's just again for me to be more expressive. So if we can return, then we'll just do as they have it here, user ID. So we have the login handler, and let's see, we have the run login handlers. I just have to figure out how exactly get to that point. check for the login handlers. Publish fields, get account data, set account data, login token. So all internal functions that don't really are of interest. Insert user doc will be doing something similar here if the user does not exist. Managing user object, create update or create user from external service. So user after we authenticate with the third party. So let's see. This might be maybe it. Let's see. Do we have service name? Insert user doc. Maybe this might be. So let's take a read. You get the service name. If it's not password or resume, then it goes through because those are internal service. That's a good question. Does our Web3 login, would that go under the internal or external service? Where does the passwordless come into this? Because that's kind of might be in the similar way. So that's all out. So in this case, that's account server. It's still third party, so we'll have to kind of look into this and think similarly to like to OAuth packages. Let's see, do I still? No, I don't have my line package open, so let's quickly take a look here. Server. So let's register service. We don't really want to do it through OAuth because that makes no sense. Let's see on client. No. So that's not that's what's being handled internally, probably. So let's keep reading the code. So if it has ID, service data for service must include ID. Appropriate services. So we have the services name ID. So that's a good question. This might, so actually instead of address, we might have to have it like as an ID. Service ID key. Now it tries to find it, check to see if the developer has custom way to find the user outside of the journal selector above. Okay, so that's app way. Before we can run user hook to see if we should continue. All options. When updating an existing user, by default we only process pass through the service data. Okay. Interesting. So we have registered our login handler. Change password. Set password. Forgot password. Reset token. Verification token. Reset passwords and enrollment. Reset password. Going to email verification. Add emails. And here we go. We'll have to. Can actually start this part for the indexes, since we already found that, and services web3 dot address. Let's not build it yet, and we'll have to figure out if it's going to be address or ID. Thread. I'm glad that this is going to be useful. That's my objective. I'm also writing it for myself because I plan to add Web3 login to my projects. So we have at least that. Now we have to figure out the login. Password find by username. So here, this is the login handler, and then we go back to settings. So let's take a look on the password client, because that's where the login thing happens. So we have here the create user, login with password to an FA code. And here we have the internal login with password. So let's take a look here. So yeah, it does call login method. So this is on the client, which is good for us. And we'll be using the call login method here. Have the method arguments. So let's get to it. So back to our client. So once we have the selected accounts, we'll do the accounts.call login methods. And let's see, what do we have here? How do we, if we look here, so method name login by default. Which is correct, and then we have the other thing, so that's not of interest. And we have the selector for user, so it has user password code. So we'll have the call login method. Here we go, options, method arguments. And in our case, we already put here that when we get options, we want to see address there. So in this case, it's going to be selected account. Yay. Of course, we need to import accounts here as well. Accounts from Meteor accounts base. Okay, so and then we have the callback thing, which we should be adding as well. Let's just call it the, let's just be nice and copy the same thing here, and it's going to be a bit tricky here because it's async. But let's just do this for now. We have the fetch account data, which we have here. So we'll have to do it like this. And actually we don't have any, we don't really deal with providers here, so let's just do it like that for now. What do we, okay, so we have that, and then it returns selector. Given the callback thing, I'm not really sure that it's something that we care about. But sure, why not? We can do that. Services, Web3, and right now it's address, which is the selected account. Call login method. But maybe just because it's the internal function here. Let's see what is it does. It goes the login with password. It returns the selector. Let's say call returns the selector. So it's on the client. Yeah, I don't think this really matters. So call login method. And that should then get to our the one we have defined here, our login handler, Web3. I don't think that's enough to get to it. We need to really say that it's somewhere, it's Web3. And let's see, method arguments, method name, method arguments, then and this we can update as well while we are at it. Login method, validate results. So validate results, use callback. Here we go. So it's login, callback, prepare callbacks, provide login failure hooks. And result received. So I I want to see this dot connection. Here we go. Options, method name. So where is that bad boy? Method name, login by default. Then it's arguments. So let's say login to the accounts base. Maybe common. That's another place where this could be on login. Oh man. A lot of places where this is. This on login hook, blah blah blah. On login. Kind of running in circles. Let me see if I can find it better here. Login. We have that. I want to find the login function itself. So it's the test server. Oh, this looks. Okay, here, this is the attempt login. So, okay, so this is the actual result from attempted login. Let's see, what does this take us? Take us over here. Here we go, methods.login. So it comes to this. Again, it takes this method login, runs the login handlers, and then comes here. And just to check, it's this, then it's, the second one is login, so method name is login. And here we go, it's results.type, so that's the attempt, and that's what I want to get to. But where's the result then coming from? So that's the fourth option, result. That's the, okay, and that is where we run the login handlers. That's what we already set up. So it's this, and then the options. So we have the method invocation and the options. Try login method handler dot name. So try login methods. Okay, so it's going to go and through the different handlers, which is what's defined. So that's the register login handler, as I expected. So that's our thing. So it goes through the handler dot name. So in our case Web3, and it's going to call it. And expect a result. Get method invocation, login, and options. And if we look on our so it registers Web3, and then we get the options. Okay, so this is actually correct, but I think we might want to improve this so we don't have any future, should I call it, conflicts, to have that as Web3 address. Which then method argument here is going to be Web3 address, and that should in theory tie into our login handler, which then will run this thing. So login handler, I think is definitely worth giving this a try. First, I'm going to take a quick break, and yeah, then we'll be actually trying to do this login, which is obviously first going to fail, or somehow, you know, what I have missed, there's going to be Meteor magic. It's going to create a new user. So we'll have to check into that. But yeah, as I said, I'll do a quick break and I'll be right back. Okay, as I said, quick break, and we have a question. How often will these trees be going to be? I am hoping I will be able to make one at least once a month. You know, if you have any suggestions for any specific topics that you would like me to cover, you know, please, you know, write them in the chat or send me an email. Be happy to do those. I think it's going to be one that's going to be public, and then I will have at least once a month one stream for my sponsors. That's still kind of in plans. So if eventually there will be more streams like these for sponsors, and we'll see how often I'll be doing some public ones. So and with sponsors, it will be either, you know, coding like this, or, you know, coding together or maybe some interviews or whatnot with other people. Kind of remains to be seen. And yeah, that's kind of also advertisement if you want to sponsor me to do more of these things and to get access to more of these things. For example, as a sponsor, you get access kind of to the skeleton that I've used to create my personal web page. It's called Socialize Starter, and that gives you integration with socialized packages. It was done by Kelly Copley and with some of my assistants later on. And it's a really nice starter if you just want to get the basic, user functionality and social functionality like comments and private messaging, friending, blocking, all that stuff. I admit it still needs a lot of design work to make it look more pretty, and it's opinionated in its technologies and still a lot more work to do. But I think at least you can get some interesting ideas if you're not going to use it. All right, now that we have everything set up, I think it's time to spin this up again and yeah, see what happens. Also, another thing, if you can't or don't want to sponsor me at this point, another way to support me is I have affiliate links. So there is other ways. So if you check them out, I have 2 right now in the description of this video or this stream. That's for GitKraken, which is if we switch to it, there's this nice user interface to Git. Some really nice functionality. Can go into that more in the future. And then for Mingo, which is the GUI for managing say databases, which kind of its big thing is that it can sync between databases, so you can sync from production to staging or local environment. And yeah, it's going to, which is pretty nice, but it has also all the other nice thing that you would expect from any MongoDB say manager or like Atlas or Compass. Kind of interesting information about this one is that it was originally built on Meteor, so that's why I kind of support them. And yeah, check it out. And I have links on my sponsorship page on GitHub, link in the description, so you could have seen it during the break on the screen. So now then that things are running, let's get back to we don't need this anymore. Okay, where are we? Here we go with our login. And a quick refresh. Go with Web3 and okay, here we go. We see that it is connected because we already did the connection before with my MetaMask, so that's my address here. Another way you can send me some Ethereum if you want to. And then we have a uncaught error here, which says that user was not found. Let's see. Here we have our console logs from server. We get the Web3 address here as expected, and it gets user not found, which is fabulous. That's exactly what we want. Now then, let's see, how are we going to go from here? Let's think for a while. Counts call login method. Actually, I want to check this in Meteor. Oops, no. call login method to see some examples here. So we call that, and it's actually inside the create user over here. So let's see. Let's open this more up. Internal login with password. It's on the client. So let's jump in here. So it's the internal part. So we have the login with password. It's going to be a bit quite a different thing here, because with password we either have that you are signing up or that you are logging in. So there isn't like any ambiguity there, as with these third-party services where you either sign up or sign in. So this is sadly not going to help us. So I think what we kind of have to do here is just do a classical try catch. So we'll do that. Well, of course, we also will be doing finally here with the return. Really nice one, I can use that. So, and we have the error 4 or 4.3 user not found. So if error equals 403, so we are just going to log it out for now. Else throw new meteor.error with E. So only if it's the specific one that we'll be looking for, that then we want to create the user, which is user not found. We might also maybe later on add like a functionality here. For example, I can see that you want, specifically, for creation, maybe override this the basic functionality, instead, create a pop-up where you will be adding, okay, please select your username and all that stuff. Which is probably something I should be doing here as well for my personal website, but I think that's maybe a good idea for the next stream to expand, add more functionality to this to make it more customizable and friendlier to start creating stuff. So we have that. Let's run that again. So it's a number, and we are getting that, and it should be user not found. Let's just, and that's under the reason, and e.reason triple equals user not found. Get rid of that. No return. Okay, finally I'll have to do more research on that one to do it nicely. So Web3 on count. That should not. I should not be seeing that anymore. Why am I seeing that? Try Or maybe because this is async. No. Just a totally wild guess. Probably not. Yeah, that had no effect whatsoever. So why am I getting this? Account data. It's already is covered in this part. Oh, here we go. It's because of this callback. Because I need to fix it here. Report error. That's because I'm putting things in the wrong place. So, goodbye, try catch. It was nice knowing you. And I want to do, you want to do this. And let's see, the report error is that's from password client. I actually don't have that here, so it's going to be actually in else, so we don't want to call it anyway. Yes, we don't need those. Throw new meter.error. Goodbye. Now then, that should be, if I am not mistaken, let's make sure we have the fresh. Okay, now we are getting back in business. User not found. So if user is not found, in this case, we'll have to create a new one. So account, create user, and we'll be passing on some options. So let's jump over here. And we want to find the actual method. Account base. So it's all the tests, clients, test, common. Where do we have that? Server name, login, password. That's the limiters. Where do we have this thing? Oh, let's just do the accounts password. That's not. No, that's not where. So it calls the login method create user, type password. And then it does the create user verifying email. Not really what I want. I want some create. Where do we have? Let's see, we have any create stuff here. What about server? A lot. Hash login token. Okay. So this might be. Insert user doc. So this is the bad boy we're looking at, to insert a new user. So clone user document, protect for modification, created at stamp point, so on, so on. And yeah. So this is on the server. And let's see how this is being called through other places. So account server is using that. We need to actually skip back here to see how it's used in other places. User without 2FA. So that's tests. And I want to... I was expecting to see some passwords here, so... Account server. So this is definitely the function we'll have to use. And since it's on server, we finally get to... Actually, let's see, we have the account server. Let's see if we have anything here on the client that we could call in. No. Okay, so that's a good for us. So we are going to do here meteor.call. We are going to call our method create Web3 user with our Ethereum address, and then we add our callback. So we are already in a callback. Well, in this case, callback is going to be either user ID or error, so that's fine. Let's go back. We have prepared here different, but we have the same thing here. Function. So now we can do accounts, create users with services. We set Web3 and address. And that's our Ethereum address. And actually we want to return that for the callback. Let's see, I think that should be it. What do you guys think? Anything else I am missing here? Should be like this. Okay. Oh, welcome, Scene. Have you done signing messages? No, I don't think that's the point of this package. This package is just simply to, you know, get the Ethereum address, check if we have a user with that address registered or not. If yes, log him in. If not, create a new user as per the default behavior. Any like additional functionality around Web3 is beyond the scope of this package. That's something that maybe and at some other later point we can handle. But now we are going to take a look and see if what I did has worked. So Web3 error invoking method, and what do we have here? Need to set username or email. So that is kind of where we are running into our problems, because every time we have a, let's just say, user, we have a username or an email in there. Okay, Scene says, as a part of the logging flow, they should have to sign a message to prove that they have private keys, otherwise the account could be spoofed. Yes, that's a good point. But I think the way we are doing this is something that's handled by the Web3 model. We'll have to look into that. And yeah, we'll have to look into that, but one step at a time. And yeah, need to set username or email. So we are going to do the, how should I say it, not so nice thing of right now setting the username as the Ethereum address, which is not nice. It's not nice from all aspects you can imagine. Yes, Milan has the same thing. So yeah, we have to set the Ethereum address as a username. For right now, I think that will more than suffice. I think, as I mentioned previously, for those joining us right now, in the future, probably maybe another stream, who knows, maybe some of you can add in pull requests once we get going. we can have we can have like additional functionality here. Probably this is something that we'll have to have like a callback to or a hook for the application, so that when this happens, when the new user creation is going on, it will then call this function, and then it will wait. For example, it's going to be like a pop-up that's going to ask for create a username, and then that's going to be passed in here. Let's see what else do you have here. So yeah, and kind of to the verification, another thing that we could do here is that we have the address. We could do the verified here, and we can just at the basic we can just do false, and then we can have like another functionality to verify. So that is definitely a nice point. It is I honestly, that is beyond the scope of today, and I think that's also a good point for the discussion. How do we want to do the verification? Do we want to make this in one step, or do we want to have that like as an extra step, similar like with emails? Can register with an email, and then eventually have to verify it. So yeah, that's kind of what this Milan says. Best to add valid field directly to Meteor core. Yeah, this is pretty much what this should do. So we have refreshed that. Let's take a look on our unsecure login. Okay, still we got 500 error. So what do we have here? Invoking did not check all arguments. And I know what's going on here. This is the same issue we've got with the two-factor authentication, because it does a same thing, and this is I think the package, the audit argument check package might have a bug here, because it kind of expects me then to do here callback, and then do a check here on callback, but that's not how method works. So I think there's something strange going on there. Let's go back to the index. Meteor call. It's let's see if I do this. If this for some reason satisfies it or not. Stranger things have happened. Oh, callback is not a function. So it is. Or if we want to actually do here something ourselves before we pass in the callback further. me actually do a quick refresh on my... But if you actually look here, the user has been created. We have a username with the wallet address, but we don't have the services there. So that's a bug that we need to fix right now. Thankfully, I am just going to delete this user. So we are almost there. almost. That's so I think we are 80% there. Now we are in the 20%, and as is the, let's say, the law, the last 20% are what takes the the most effort. So when we look on create user with the options, it only does the profile, password, email, or username. It does not look into for the services, which is a problem for us, quite a big one. Create user. Where was that? Client, colon, server, insert user doc. So this is where if use what it should do it if user.services pin encrypted fields to users. So let's take a look. Packages. Oh no, we are using that directly. So we have options and then we have user. So maybe what I am doing wrong here is these are the options and this is the user. Service. Let's take a look on this encrypted field to user. So as outsource the data is temporarily stored in pending credentials collections during the authentication process. Sensitive data such as access token encryption without the user ID because we don't know the user ID yet. We encrypt these fields with the user ID included when storing the service data permanently in the user's collection. I do wonder what that is going to do. What that is going to do to us. So, if we see this is in the same function, doesn't look like it. So insert user doc. On create user hook. So it runs then the hooks. Validating user hooks. So it checks we can create. And this is for if emails. I think actually this is something that can be or removed or reworked because this has been fixed. And then it goes back ID. So, let's give it a second try. Let's just make sure we have nice empty thing. And let us take a look into the database. But right now, as you can see, I'm checking. This did not work. Execution during results invoking create Web3 user. Callback is not a function. Why? Why? So no, because this is part of the callback. So that's not that, and that's kind of where the return is coming in. So back to square one here. What do we have? Insert user doc options, and then it's user. What are the options here? Seems to be unrelated. So insert user doc. Where is that? Options, new user. Because I'm going to do create user and not through the insert user doc. So I need to do insert user doc. So then it's options, which I don't care about, and then it's user. So this one should work. So Web3, of course, gives me the business, and yeah, nothing there. It says callback is not a function. Doesn't like my callback. Let's see what we have here. Exception when invoking cannot read property Facebook of undefined. Duh, you're not working with Facebook. Why is it trying to read Facebook? Imports API collection user. So it's running through a hook. So that's 3. So this might be on my side. API collections user.js 114. If service Facebook. Services Facebook. There is no services Facebook, so why is it trying to get Facebook? Let's figure this one out. Okay, got an error. Okay, because service is undefined. That's okay. So I misread that. So that's the issue there. But services should be defined always, because if it's either password or Facebook or anything else, so it should be defined in some way. So this is a correct error. And that means that it's not liking the user doc insert. For some reason. So let's see. Have the options. Options are empty. So it should just copy over the user. Without any questions. And then if user.services, it does the encrypted fields, but that does not seem to be, as we said before, goes for the service, which in this case is our Web3 and user ID. So this might be where we are running into issues. For each key, key auth encryption is sealed, value seal. Kind of wondering if it's not something with this function. Or what I might need to do here. Do Web3 Ethereum address. So we can actually, it needs to be string if we are dealing with MongoDB, but in this case, we might be able to just do it in nice JSON. And let's go for it like that. So it's true, callback is not a function. That's something to fix later. Okay, Web3 address. Where do we have that console log? So that's here. Register login handler. Can get rid of that. We don't no longer need that. Let's do this like this. Ethereum address. Oh wait, that actually worked already. So if we look over here on our Ethereum users, we have services here, the ID and the address. And if you look on the indexes, we have the Web3 address here as well. Let's see what for the other. I think looking at this, it has to have some sort of ID. That's why it was not happy. So let's make it happy. And we can create a new index here. And this might be also for future functionality as well. But yeah, so but let's keep I'll keep the lookup on the address with the ID again. That's something we can discuss in the future. And now what happened here? We did not get logged in, so that's one thing that we have still to happen here. Accounts, insert user doc. So that's the then, you know, in case we go back to Meteor core, we have the account server, insert user doc, all that amazing thing. And what it does is it returns the user ID. So const user ID. So that's the for creating the user. And since we are already there should be also here the, let's see, what else do we have here? Login. We want to log in. Call login method. Totally blind here. Let's see, call login method. What do we put in here? Method arguments. It's kind of, we are getting back into the loop. Been there, done that. So this is a good one to take a look. Maybe if we can create the user directly from the client. That's something I looked before. So that's what we tried. That's the client. Username, password, profile. That one is the restricted one, which did not work for our tests. After creation. Yeah, so I want to see the create user method on in the accounts common. It's the client test. Those are tests. It's not. It's crazy. The user. It's crazy. Chicken duplicates. So password client. I want accounts client. Create user. It's not. It's not putting me to where I want to be. So maybe in common. Yes, Yeah, actually that's where it's more likely to be. Create user. Config. But it's hidden under something, so I think we are back where it began. So I want just probably go and find the login function and just do it. So server limit is probably going to be somewhere on top. User ID, validate before external login, on create login token, on create user. Yes, those are the hooks. What is validate login? Okay, so it's just to check. Up, find user. So it's the login method, so that's why it's so. Oh, okay, here we go. Try a login method converting through exception into error. Stamp login token. So or I can just go directly to set user ID, but that does not. We have the login, so maybe it's the attempt login. No, that's after. Damn it. Login method. So I guess that's actually what we have to do. Use this. On the client as we have defined, or use the call login method. So actually, yes, let's keep this simple. So this is just the method to create a user. We can actually, that can actually be used further afterwards. We can probably clean this up later, but now then error response if error callback error if response, then we can actually do here the counts call login method arguments Web3 address and here again user callback error result, and we do callback error, that is if there is error, or if result, then it's callback undefined result. It's ugly, but my first goal here is to make this work. So that should be nothing. Now that we have the Web3 user already registered in our database, where did I put Mingo? Yep, over here. So the user exists. It should be okay. We are MetaMask. Yes, login is running here. What does our server says? Nothing. So okay, so that probably was not such a good idea. So let's reverse this into this. And on the server here it should be counts.set. Where is it? Underscore. Let's take a, oh, wait. Never mind, that actually worked. As you can see, this is already the dashboard. But that took way too long than it should have. Okay, so let's see if we can Meteor login user on server. Let's see if there's definitely some over here. Okay. Connection login. That's a hack. That's not a nice. Yes. That's not the thing. Okay, what do we have here? Is this? What do they propose? So it's then results login with token. Not that. Yeah, we'll have to generate the stamp login token. That's the one. And let's see. Let's just generate stamped login token. That just seems too simplistic. Const login token. Let's see, what is the initial connect server? Not really a fan of this one. I don't think that's exactly what I want. I don't think this is exactly doing what I want to do. Oh, it's also for tests, so that's not good. Because the idea here with these tokens is that they are used for, you know, when reconnecting. Get account data. So let's Meteor login. Guess we'll have to do the run login handlers. So we'll have to do this. I prefer this method. Now on the options, what are the options here? Run login tokens. This one should not be this, but maybe Web3. It's the one we used. Yeah, that's the Web3. Options is Web3 address for our case. Okay, that's that. Oh, let's give this a try. Already have the user there. Let's do a logout. Still thinks that I'm logged in for some reason. Maybe. Yes, I guess I have not yet fully migrated the checking code from Later Universe here. Anyhow. Web3. Well, looks like 1557. Looks like the resume token and everything went through. But the client has not picked it up. Oh, this is, yeah, which obviously it has not. Wait, it has, so let's try this again. Maybe it's just an issue with my front end here. So Web3 connect. Let's do a meteor.user ID. Okay, so it's there. So and actually I'm seeing it here. So this means actually that This is actually now work on my side where I have to, and this is actually not even here. This is going back here, logging with Web3. Where do we have that? So fetch account. This is the login with Web3. Then there's the callback. You just get all the way here past, no problem. Happy campers. So here, like with any of the other I need to make sure that it redirects to the dashboard. And I'm pretty sure now I do login. Voila. Not perfect, but this is unrelated. Mainly because as you can see here, I'm still expecting there to be some emails, as is from any other providers. But I think we've got ourselves a basic Web3 login package. Let's see if my account settings here, no, they cannot handle it right now here yet. They're kind of prepared here for the usual services. So the next part will be here to add in any of the, for Web3 handlings, display your address and whatnot. Not sure what is this new one that's in feed new post. No, that's something else. So I'll have to also migrate my latest stuff and add more conditionals to kind of work with this. And I think the next conditional, and as was suggested already, is to actually do verification on the Ethereum 3 addresses. So guys, what do you think so far? I think this is how should I call it, the first alpha version. I think this is more than sufficient, as was mentioned before. Next step is to make sure that we have all the verification and everything, and we can just, I think this is a solid foundation to build on. So now it's time to start wrapping things up. Let's go back to our stuff here. We have undefined here. I think we can add here later on. So yeah, we'll leave this to do here. That's, I think, is good to do. We have the ID, we have the address. I think since we will be doing the verification, we'll add here the verified false. And then we'll have an additional work with that. Since it's synchronous, we don't have to worry about anything here. Just do the login, the user in. Just add some comments. Create user. These consoles we no longer need. I'll have to do some two-factor authentication later on. Maybe we'll have to figure that out. Nothing in comments. Let's see, client. Client, yeah, we'll have to change this. So far looks pretty good. I think we are sitting pretty. We have the init here, and this is maybe something that we might actually want to call on the login with Web3, the initialization, which is all this code. And what do you think, guys? Should we move that to really initialize all the Web3 things when the actual button is clicked, or I think that's probably better than on the actual start of the app. I don't know. So we have that, so it only initializes once we have that going. Let's see, do we have any async in init? Nope, it's all synchronous. And now the big question from the beginning, do we move these providers and everything somehow inside this, or do we keep them as in this case? If I go to client on my main, so right here we have kind of multiple options how to handle this. I kind of like this because it's using DNS, so this is something that usually people have already loaded in. Or sorry, not DNS. So yeah, I very much like this setup. I'll leave that for right now, and I will document that. Let's put this. We need imports. We need the changelog is fine. We need the README. So template. It's not a template package anymore. It's Freedom Base Web3 login. And this is package. This is the GitHub. So it's Freedom Base Web3 login. It's active. Let's see. Freedom Base Web3 login. And okay, it still has to be here. Freedom Base Web3 login. Man, more adjustments. Any more shields? That looks good. Good. So, getting started, or actually, first of all, disclaimer: alpha stage. So this package is in active development and is bare bones. Do not use in production yet. Getting started. Run Meteor at Freedom Base Web3 login. We don't need any of that. And settings. So I'll fill that up later. freedom-based Web3 login. Okay. Oops. So add this install. Prepare your app. Add the following to your main.html file. So these will be kind of our, so that we haven't done the chains yet. So let's just jump to this. And if you are using connect, also add this one. I will be filling out the settings and how to set up all the other things and expanding on that in a later version. And yeah, what do we have here? I think that's good for the initial thing. Maybe I will add here later on also the link to this stream for people who want to see how to set it up. Changelog, initial, alpha release. The tests will be failing right now, so because that's not there. We'll deal with that at some later point. And yeah, that's kind of that. What I will be doing, so let's jump back here to GitKraken, stage the files, initial code, get that committed, pushed, and now I am in the wrong directory here, so packages, Web3 login. Let us double check that that's exactly what we want to have, freedom-based Web3 login. And it's Meteor publish, and I believe create was the command. Unknown. Oh, that's not good. Local test. So yeah, that's the, yes, so this needs to be this. It's probably something that could be improved in Meteor to import this manually, but let's do this again. Uploading everything. Well, look at that. So now, as you can see, we have published the package. Let's jump back in here. Let's add the package.js fix here. Commit. And also to be really nice here, version 0.0.1. Push version 1 to origin together with, actually this should be the other way around. But yeah, so we have that. Let's go to GitHub, freedom base, and see here, this is the repository. No description provided. These topics, Web3. Yay. Our topic is Meteor, isn't it? No official website yet. Implementation of Web3 model, or not implementation, this is integration. Integration of Web3 login via Web3 model Meteor. Save all the changes. Looks nice. Looks good to me. Doesn't look to be set up yet, but that will be in a moment. And of course now, oops, double check. Here we go. We have Web3 login with all its glory, issues, and everything. So right now we'll have that as a website. Yeah, so everybody, feel free to go in and have a play with it. As I said, there's still a lot more work to do, but given everything, given the time that we already have, for 3 hours, as is usual with live coding, everything takes much longer than if you have it nice and prepared, scripted, and whatnot. So took a while, but I think we have a nice base for Meteor and Web3 logins that we can build on. And I think that might be something that we'll be doing on next time. I'm really just starting to get into this, so I'm looking forward to your feedback, maybe some pull requests for people who have some ideas how to improve this. And yeah, so let me know in the comments if you want me to for the next stream to be continuing on this, or if you want another topic to be covered. I'm looking, I have some ideas, but I was always looking for more ideas. If you like some of the tools I've been using, you can, there are links to GitKraken for my affiliate link, and also to Mingo, which I use to kind of check out on the database. So please check out those two. I really love those two softwares. And if you check it through those links, you're also helping me. Or also, check out my sponsorship page. On GitHub if you want me to continue. I think I just need to do here the sponsors thing. So this is it. So I have multiple tiers, and or there are other options how you can, if you want to donate to me in some way. So that's it from me. Let me actually quickly double check here on the meetups on what's the next thing going on. So we had the stream right now. Next Saturday, I will be hosting a hangout meetup. That's off topic from Meteor. It will be all about Japan, because as you can probably see from my background, I'm very much huge fan of Japan. Been there 3 times for 3 or more weeks of tourism and lived there for over a year. And then there are other meetups coming up, but the one I'll be hosting will be at the end of the month on April 30th, which will be a community meetup or hangout, more precisely. So it's just pretty much we're getting together and talking about anything and everything Meteor. So yeah, check that out. Let me know how things go, and I'll let you know through Meteor forums and social media where the next hangout and when is going to happen. So yeah, that's it for me. Thank you very much for attention, and yeah, I'll see you next time.